Good day everyone, my name is Salvation S. Baltazar. I am from Group 1 and we are assigned to report on the respiratory structures. So let's begin with the respiratory tract, which consists of the nose and the nasal cavity, the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, the bronchi, and the lungs. Process of ventilation in the respiratory structure, wherein it includes the respiratory cycle of inspiration and expiration. When we say inspiration, the air moves through the trach, and on the expiration, it moves out of the respiratory tract. We also have here gas exchange, wherein the air and blood exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide in a process.
We discussed today is all about the respiratory system. Respiratory system is have a goal. Describe the major organ of respiratory system, which is the lungs, is the major organ. Locate respiratory structure on chart. Demonstrate the structure of respiratory organ in specimen. Goals: trace movement of air through respiratory tract. Locate structural features of trachea. Locate structural feature of lung tissue and specimen. Gross anatomy. Nose. Reserved to external cartilage and bone forming an arterial wall of the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity refers to the entire cavity. Nasal septum wall dividing up the nasal cavity into right and left portion. Show the image is as the nasal cavity, nostril, mouth, throat, voice box. Gross anatomy. Nares, external nares of nostril and internal nares, opening from the posterior nasal cavity into the pharynx. Hard palate. Floor of nasal cavity. Concave is three-curved bridge from the lateral wall of the cavity. Concave also is help to the humidify air we breathe. The three nasal concave. We have the superior concave, middle concave, inferior concave. Paranasal sinuses. Air-filled mucus line space in the skull that communicates with the nasal cavity. Cross anatomy. Paranasal sinuses is from the maxilla, frontal, ethmoid, sphenoid. Nasolacrimal duct, tube that ducts tears from the conjunctiva over the eye and empties into the nasal cavity. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Angeline Batulay and my report for today is all about gross anatomy. Deals with the structure of the body that are visible through the naked eye. The paranasal sinuses is a group of four paired air-filled spaces that surround the nasal cavity, and the maxillary sinuses are located under the eyes. The frontal sinuses are above the eyes, the ethmoidal sinuses are between the eyes, and the sphenoidal sinuses are behind the eye. We have parts of sinuses. First, frontal sinuses. The sinuses lighten the skull or improve our voices, but their main function is to produce a mucus that moisturizes the inside of the nose. This mucus layer protects the nose from pollutants, microorganisms, dust, and dirt. Second, sphenoidal sinus, maxillary sinus. Nasopharynx connect the nasal cavity with the throat. The nasopharynx connect to the eustachian tube of the middle ear, which allow the nasopharynx to help the balance pressure within the ear.
Let us now proceed with the voice box or the larynx, which is a hollow tube that connects your throat to the rest of the respiratory system. So it contains the vocal cords and it is used for breathing, swallowing, and talking. We also have the laryngeal cartilages, which is 9 pieces of cartilages It is 6 pairs and 3 single pieces that fits together to form the wall of the larynx. So we have the thyroid, the cricoid, and the epiglottis, which are the unpaired ones, and the cuneiforms, corniculates, and the arytenoids, which are the paired ones. We also have here the vestibular folds, or what we call the false vocal cords. This is superior of 2 pairs of ligaments that is stretched across the lateral portion of the larynx cavity. Its function is a second line of defense, as it protects of the more delicate vocal folds that lies beneath it. With the trachea or the windpipe. The trachea or windpipe allows air into the lungs. They conduct air between the larynx and the bronchi below, and it has a C-shaped cartilage rings embedded in its anterior and lateral walls for support. Next one is the primary bronchi. It divides into the right and left portion. Primary bronchi is also called the main bronchi. One is the hilum. It is what connects our lungs to their supporting structures and where pulmonary vessels enter and exit the lungs. The hilum functions much like a plant root. It secures each lung in place and providing them a channel for energy to pass through. Is the lungs. It is divided into 2 divisions, which is lobes and the lobules. The lobes will be the first division. The lobules would be the secondary division. The lobules has left side, which has superior and inferior lobe, and right side, wherein there is a superior, middle, and inferior lobes. We also have a pleura, which is a serous membrane that covers each lung. It has a visceral and parietal pleura. Then we have the pleural fluid, which is found in the space between the visceral and the parietal pleura.
Terminal bronchioles is near at the end of branching. Respiratory bronchioles subdivides to form the alveolar ducts. Alveolar ducts is end as group of air sacs, while the alveoli is the air sacs. Branches of bronchial tree. Primary bronchi branches to a bronchial tree. Secondary bronchi serves the separate lobes. Tertiary bronchi branch of secondary bronchi and the bronchioles, small branches of airway within each lobule. Here are the microscopic anatomy. Lining, pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Cilia, goblets, smooth muscles are the outer walls. Alveolus is the air sac that communicates with respiratory bronchiole. Alveolar epithelium is a simple squamous, while the pulmonary capillaries is around the alveoli.
Let us try to answer one of our laboratory activities on page 406, wherein we are going to put in order the structures through which the air passes during the inspiration. So to begin with, we will start with the nasal cavity, and then the next one is the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, the primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, terminal bronchioles, and respiratory bronchioles. So that will be the correct order through which the air passes during inspiration.